So what can be the better way of starting your own session or your own series with a leader like you? So at the very first instance, I would like to say thank you from my heart for the time you have taken out for today. So I would request you if you can tell us something about you. I know it is very difficult to cover about you in just 30-minute session, but if you can, sir.
Samta, once again, it's a pleasure being with you. I know there is no hectic schedule when it comes to finding an appointment. So my name is Rajnish. I've been in the industry for now approaching 40 years. In two separate innings. In the first inning, I was a line leader. I have risen through the ranks to the C-level. So I've been a CIO, COO, CEO for about 10 to 12 years. And then, rather than running companies myself, I thought I'd teach others how to run companies. So last 10 years or so, I've been a consultant. And I coach. I do executive coaching for a lot of senior guys. Again, in the top half of the pyramid, corporate pyramid. I also do a lot of consulting assignments on company strategy, sales transformation, operations excellence, and so on. So leadership development, of course, and so on.
Okay, great. Sir, I heard, I'm aware of that you're a partner with a positive momentum, and I have read one line about that no nonsense business, and it also says you directly connect with the business and give your best. So it's a very beautiful line, I will say, no nonsense business. So how you plan, how you ensure that in that particular organization positive?
So it's no nonsense business expertise. So as consultants, this group of consultants in Positive Momentum brings to the table for any client no nonsense business expertise. So we believe very strongly that we are not necessarily the theory book consultants who will bring very lavish PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that. I'd rather go and focus on being curious about you, about being in fact, one of the quotable quotes we use is, our job is to be more interested rather than be more interesting. So I'm not standing on stage and cracking jokes about the world at large and so on and so forth. When I'm with a client, I'm interested in the challenges that they're facing. I'm interested in what is keeping them awake at night and what can we do to bring about change so that they grow, so that the clients grow. And therefore, no nonsense business expertise. I'm not into the nonsense of PowerPoint presentations after presentations after presentations and so on and so forth. I'd rather come to the crux, show curiosity, get a better understanding of the business of the client, and then, take the ball along as the client wants to.
I must say, your clients must be very happy because you are giving a justification to even every penny, every time you of themselves, of yourself also, which is definitely a very nice to do thing. And sir, you yourself said you are into the leadership role. You were into the leadership role, and I myself have worked with you for a very short span of time, and I've seen you one of the best leaders. So, what was your leadership style, and with the passage of time, do you think that there is a need to change a particular leadership style in your case?
So, if I may describe my way of thinking, I'm not sure I call it a leadership style, but my thoughts are pushed by this sentiment of a happy employee will lead to a happy customer, will lead to a happy shareholder. So if I try and attack and get money, I may or may not succeed. But if I make sure my employees are happy, they will ensure that the customers are happy, and the customers are happy, meaning shareholders will automatically get them. So the philosophy has always been, and I'm a keen sportsman, so I've learned a lot from outside the field of world champions. And there was this one comment I read in a small book called Success versus Joy, that if you chase success, you may or may not get joy. But if you chase joy, you will get success. Eventually, you will get success. And that is so true in the business corporate world. That as long as people are happy, they're motivated, they're charged up, they're delivering to their best potential, money will happen.
True. I completely agree. So it's my another question based on your personal experiences as well as your I will say the working experience with great organization, because I have also worked in multiple organizations. I have seen that reaching the compliance level as well as getting into the business, somewhere there has to be a balance between the two. So when you have experienced that in yourself as a leader, how you ensure that the business is also happening and the compliance is also keeping into the consideration?
So it's not an either or, Samta, at all. The way I see it is, and again I'll cite sporting examples. I'm a winner. I believe winning is a habit. I want to win every single time. Of course, I do lose. That is true for any sport. But I want to win every single time I'm on the field. But I want to win within the rules of the game. I'm looking at the mirror every day in the morning. I don't want to look at that guy in the mirror and feel, oh God, even if I won, actually I broke the rules, actually I cheated, actually I did something which was unethical. And yeah, so what if I earned the money at the end of the day, but it's been unethical? It's been something which the rules of the game did not allow. And that, to my mind, is not satisfying to the client. I want to win, and I want to win as per the rules of the game. And that's what compliance is all about. So it's not about do I do this or do I do this. I think it has to be, both have to be done. I have to make money, I have to make my customers happy, but I can't do anything which is unethical. I can't do which is something which is outside the purview of or the domain of compliance.
True. As you said, when you see into yourself into the mirror, you should feel satisfied from both the aspect as well as business as well as the compliance, because compliance and ethics are the pillars of any organization which are very critical and sensitive, and we are seeing lots of things happening in the world, including India, where because of the non-compliance people are suffering, and not only the people, even the customers, all the stakeholders are getting suffered. So like that, now you are on the other side of the business where you are teaching, you are giving the guidance to the leaders, etc. So what is your specific message to these leaders who are aspiring leaders from the perspective of their responsibility towards compliance and ethics?
So first and foremost, I distinguish between what you achieve and how you achieve. This is the leadership that I've been taught, that not only should you achieve good results, but also the mechanism you use to achieve those good results is also understood. Values is something as an organization and as an individual leader I hold very close to my heart. And one of the key values is integrity and ethics. So if I can't hold myself accountable to the ethics and the integrity and the honesty of running a business in the most appropriate and legal manner, shame on me. Shame on me, because quite honestly, I might in the short term win a few dollars extra, but that has no consequence, because like you said, the guy who you are looking at in the mirror knows that you have cheated.
So what do you think in today's time where the generation wants to grow very fast, wants to become leader very fast, they will understand the importance of the compliance the way you have seen the word of the compliance?
It is up to us as elders, I would say, to talk to these youngsters and emphasize on them exactly the same sentiment. To say that, if you win, then win within the rules of the game, by playing the game within the rules of the game. No point cheating and then winning, because you got to eventually face yourself.
Completely agree. Any specific example you want to mention here, think comes into your mind?
The first example that comes to mind is a very small one actually, but probably lays out how I feel about corporate compliance. So we had, I won't name the company or the employee concerned, but in a large multinational company that I have worked with, there was once a very good employee I had, one of my team leaders in fact, so she was already a leader. And she had a whole set of people reporting to her. One of my high performers, so doing very well for herself. Unfortunately, I don't know what got into her head, but one of these days she submitted a claim, a medical claim to the company, and she would have spent about 100 rupees with the chemist, and got 100 rupee bill, which she added a zero at the end and tried to claim 1,000 rupees from the company. And yeah, if nobody had caught her, she would have gone unscathed. Unfortunately for her, somebody in finance was diligent enough, and this invoice was caught, and the matter landed on my lap to say what action do we need to take. So I've always sincerely believed that performance has nothing to do with the values. That the values will always come first in my head, and integrity is a zero error zone. So because I found her as while she was a high performance employee, I will give her a chance to develop if she makes a professional mistake in her job. Of course, I'll be the first one to teach her how to do things better and how to improve her performance and so on and so forth. But integrity, like I said, is a zero error zone. And once we realize that she is not trustworthy from her own personal integrity perspective, that may be a silly mistake. It may be a silly, and I'm sure she will, but she got the message. She's not accepted in the organization. So she had to leave. But I hope she's doing very well in her career now. I'm out of touch. But I believe we did the right thing by letting her go in spite of her being one of my star performers.
A great example, and I can really connect with this particular case if you ask me, because I have myself seen such incidents in one of my organization, and I'm really not sure what people think that they will never be catch hold of these stupid errors they do, but it really impacts their entire career. So I hope that particular case, in your particular case, she must have learned the lesson of what she has done wrong, and she should be following the rule of compliance and ethics, because as we say, integrity comes when nobody is seeing you. So that is what the compliance and ethics all about. So any specific message to our viewers, or to I deal with lots of clients, and generally I tell them that compliance does not come from the mind, it comes from the heart. So that is why you have to ensure compliance at all times. But I have seen that unfortunately in many of the cases, compliance has become a tick-a-box exercise, and it is a very short-term approach, specifically during audits, during compliance, or during merger and acquisition. Everything gets the last minute pe theek karna hai, and all these things happens. So what do you think that as a leader the organization should do to ensure that compliance is happening all the time and it is not a tick-a-box one?
I guess for anything in life, if you reward and recognize, if you talk about it, any behavioral change that I have to make within my organizations, I have to talk about it. I can't keep it in my heart and believe that the others are reading my mind or reading my heart, and so on and so forth. So talk about it. Recognize the people who are living the values of the organization. On the flip side, in private, maybe chastise the people who are not. But more importantly is the visible action that you are taking as a leadership team around the values. So of course, in all the organizations that I've been involved with as a senior leader, we made sure that we do regular town halls where we recognize the high performers. We also recognize the people who are living our values in the organization, and so on and so forth. The more we talk about it, the more people will buy it.
Completely agree. So this was a very small interaction with Rajnish Virmani sir, and I hope that we all of us are getting the right message from such high senior leader into the field for last 40 years. So thank you Rajnish sir for your time again, and I hope that we will touch base with you as always.
Absolutely, my pleasure, and all the best wishes to you in your endeavors.
Thank you Rajnish.